Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
What is up? Welcome to the GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Monday. Today here is we're going to go over the week of games. We had a busy weekend in Major League Baseball. A few good series going on around the league, as we'll cover those games in just a moment. Over the first couple segments here, going over the scores and highlights from those games, and then we'll talk about the searing hot Seattle Mariners, who have yet to hit the skids. I mean, it's not August yet, so we still have some time before we see the Mariners tank, or at least get a little heavy legs due to their travel. Who knows? Might not be the year. Might be the year they actually have the pitching to continue on. I mean, James Paxton's been great. They have their bullpen. I'm going to hold my comments to them. We'll talk about their bullpen for sure. We'll make it when we get to the third segment. But yeah, the Mariners are hot right now. 7 in a row they've won, as they might be sneaking up on the Astros as well. I mean, they are sneaking up on the Red Sox, that's for sure, when it comes to the old wild card race. Only 2 back in the second wild card right now. But we'll get to that in the third segment, as we're going to head up and talk about what's went on around the weekend. As we'll start on Friday, and we'll do this starting off with Friday in the desert. Giants and Dbacks. Giants win 2-1 behind a nice pitching performance from the rookie Andrew Suarez, the lefty there for the Giants. He went 6 innings, 1 run allowed, 7 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. The bullpen was perfect. 3 perfect innings from the bullpen for the Giants, as they get the win in Arizona. In Arizona, not San Francisco. They're in Arizona. 2-1 was the win. No homers in this game, as it was a low-scoring affair. Giants got the run in the 7th to take the lead, and they would win that. Cubs beat the Twins 10-6, as they scored 4 in the 5th to really get back in that game and take the lead there, as they were trailing in this one, and they extended that lead out to win there at home. As the home runs in this game, Jason Hayward hit his 5th, Addison Russell his 5th, Ben Zervist his 6th, and Kyle Schwarber his 16th for the Cubs. For the Twins, they got a home run from Joe Mauer, just his 2nd of the year, a 3-run shot for Joe. The Angels beat the Orioles on Friday 7-1, as they got a nice pitching performance from Pena, as they had him come in, and he went 5 in the third shutout innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. This is a guy who's been kind of thrown into the rotation along with basically everybody else in that rotation. Felix Pena coming up, as they've had some serious injury issues, along with Ohtani being one of them there in LA, as they've had to deal with that. Mike Scioscia doing the best he can, but as they're falling out farther and farther out of contention. The home runs in this one, Mike Trout hit his 24th, Martin Maldonado his 5th of the season. The Orioles did not get a homer. The Nationals blow out the Phillies 17-7 in Philadelphia on Friday, as they were hitting well. Trey Turner hit his 9th. Juan Soto hit 2 more homers, his 7th and his 8th. Anthony Rendon his 10th. Bryce Harper his 20th. Goodwin his 2nd, and Mark Reynolds his 7th, as they went real home run derby at Citizens Bank Park, and win that one by a bunch. Home runs for the Phillies. Rhys Hoskins hit his 14th. Scott Kingery his 4th, and Carlos Santana his 14th as well in the season. Yankees beat the Red Sox 8-1 in the Bronx on Friday, as they got the long ball and a great pitching performance from CC Sabathia. 7 innings, 1 run allowed, 6 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Homers from Miguel Andujar, his 12th, and then Greg Bird hit 2, his 4th and his 5th. Aaron Judge hit his 21st of the season. That was in the 7th inning there to blow that one wide open. In Toronto, the Blue Jays beat the Tigers 3-2 behind a nice pitching performance. Marcus Stroman off the deal gets his first win of the season in July. And this is actually technically still June 29th, but he gets his first win of the year at the end of June. Went 7 innings, 1 earned, 2 total, 4 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, just a home run allowed. That was to Candelario, his 12th of the season for the Tigers. For the Tigers. For the Blue Jays, they got a home run from Justin Smoke, his 10th of the season in the win there at home. The Rays beat the Astros 3-2 as Wilmer Font gets his second win of the year. As he was going to be one of those opener guys. That's what he was doing. He was a reliever coming over from the Dodgers in the trade this season, and he is actually being stretched out more to pitch enough to get a win here. As he went 5 innings, 1 run allowed, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts against the defending World Series champion Astros with their roster. He was able to keep them at bay. They only had 3 hits on the entire day. The home runs, Alex Bregman hit his 15th of the season for the Astros. The Rays did not get a homer, but they got the win in Tampa at home against the Astros. The Brewers beat the Reds 8-2 in Cincinnati. Chase Anderson gets his 6th win of the season. He's now 6-6 home runs. Lorenzen hit his 2nd of the season. That was actually the pitcher. Lorenzen for the Reds hit a home run there. And then for the Brewers, a home run for Broxton. Kenny Broxton hit his first and his 2nd of the year. 2 home runs there as he comes out. I think he's on the DL for a while, so he comes out and does well. Chase Anderson with 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. That home run to the pitcher was the only blemish there. The Marlins beat the Mets at home in Miami 8-2. Alcantara gets the first win as he made a start for the Marlins as he went 5 innings, 1 run allowed, 3 hits, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts for him as he's now 1-0. Home runs in this game. Brinson hit his 10th. JT Riddle hit his 4th of the season for the Mets. No homers as they were only able to scratch across a couple of runs in this one. The Rangers beat the White Sox 11-3 on Friday as Yovani Gallardo gets his 2nd win of the year for the Rangers as they scored 7 runs in the 2nd inning to really blow that one open early. Gallardo went 7 1/3 innings, 3 runs allowed, 4 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Home runs for the Rangers. Jurgen Odor hit his 4th, Robinson Chirinos his 11th, Nomar Mazara his 15th, Joey Gallo his 19th, and Shin-Soo Choo his 15th of the season. As the Rangers really went long ball there at home as they make that park look pretty small. The Braves beat the Cardinals 5-1 in St. Louis as Julio Teheran beats Miles Mikolas. Teheran his 5th win of the season, or 6th win of the season now for the Braves as he went 6 shutout innings, 2 hits allowed, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts for him. For the Braves, they got no homers in this game as they scored all their runs late. It was a scoreless game going into the top of the 7th inning, where the Braves were able to scratch across the first run. They added 3 more in the 8th and an extra one there in the 9th. The A's beat the Indians 3-1 in Oakland as Paul Blackburn gets his 2nd win of the year. He was pretty good against the tough Indians lineup. He went 6 1/3 shutout innings, 3 hits allowed, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts for Blackburn. For the A's, I got a home run from Jed Lowry. That was his 14th of the season. The Indians were not able really to do much. Trevor Bauer pitched well, 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, but he gets the tough luck loss in Oakland. The Rockies beat the Dodgers 3-1 behind a Tyler Anderson start as he gets his 5th win of the season for Colorado. Goes 8 innings of shutout ball, 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts for Anderson. He was excellent in this one. Wade Davis came in and gave up a run, but that was after the game was pretty much already put away. Pat Valaika hit his 1st of the season. Nolan Arenado his 20th, and Nick Iannetta his 6th. There was a bunch of 3 solo homers for the Rockies. Were all the runs they needed in that one. The Mariners beat the Royals 4-1 as they got a nice pitching performance from Marco Gonzalez. He continues to pitch really well for the Mariners. They can, they're rolling along here right in the middle of that winning streak. Gonzalez goes complete game, 9 innings, 1 run allowed, 6 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts as he gets his 8th win of the season. Home runs by Mitch Haniger and Mike Zunino. That was his 12th. Haniger his 17th of the year for the Mariners. Pirates beat the Padres 6-3, the final game on Friday, as they scored 4 in the 3rd inning to really blow that one up and to get the lead early for their starter Musgrove, as Musgrove goes 7 shutout innings, 7 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Joe Musgrove as he gets his 3rd win on the season. Eric Lauer, the tough luck loser. I mean, he was it wasn't bad, but he gets 3 unearned runs. Unearned runs tough to get around. As 2 errors by the Padres were pretty pretty harsh to tough to get around there to get the win there. Home runs for the Pirates. Jordy Mercer hit his 5th of the season. The Padres could not get one over the wall, and that was it for Friday. For Saturday, got a couple games in here before we go to the next segment. Giants shut out the Diamondbacks, a rare shutout for the Diamondbacks at home. A team that, they scored 1 run on Friday, and then the 2 rookie pitchers for the Giants, Andrew Suarez, the rookie. Then they have Derek Rodriguez, the son of Pudge Rodriguez, pitching on Saturday, as he was excellent against the Diamondbacks lineup. He went 6 1/3 shutout innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, as he gets his 3rd win of the year already. Home runs for the Giants. Brandon Crawford hit his 10th of the season. Andrew McCutchen his 9th. Joe Panik his 4th of the year, as the Giants get a big win there in Arizona, as they look for the sweep on Sunday. We'll get to that. We'll get there in just a moment and talk about that. But the D-backs shut out at home, 7-0. Blue Jays beat the Tigers 4-3 in Tampa Bay, as they got 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning to tie the game, and then a run in the 9th to walk it off, as they get the win there at home. It was a Justin Smoke solo shot to win it. His 11th of the season for Smoke. Randall Grichuk also hit his 10th of the season, a 2-run shot to make it 3-3. Tied up, as Gaviglo got the start for the Blue Jays. He was pretty good. 7 innings, 3 runs allowed, 4 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, a couple home runs allowed to the Tigers, as Hicks hit his 7th and Nick Castellanos his 12th of the year, as the 2 starters get the tough luck, no decisions, as they both only allowed 3 runs. Cubs blow out the Twins. They didn't really blow them out, but they scored 14 runs. They also allowed 9 runs, which is, you get the win, but it's 9 runs to the Twins. You got to work on your pitching staff a little bit there. Cubs, as no homers, they scored 14 runs without hitting a home run for the Cubs. I think they had. Was this the game where they had? No, that was one game. We'll get to it eventually. There was 11 doubles. I think it was the Indians game yesterday on Sunday. We'll talk about that in a moment. But this game had a bunch of doubles as well. As Tyler Chatwood wasn't that good, went 5 innings, 7 runs allowed, but he gets in a no decision because the Cubs were able to score a bunch of runs. They scored 5 in the 5th and 5 more in the 7th to really blow that one open in there. As the game was tied 9-9 going into the 7th inning, and they blew it open, won it 14-9. A's beat the Indians 7-2. Edwin Jackson gets his first win as an Oakland A, his second quality start already, and as many tries out there with the A's, as he went 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs allowed, 2 hits, 1 no walks, 6 strikeouts. Both those hits were homers, as he was tagged by Francisco Lindor, his 20th of the season, and Jose Ramirez, his 24th. Both were solo shots, so they didn't really hurt him that much. The A's were able to get 3 runs in the 6th and then 4 more in the 8th. As the A's, they're bats, and the A's are good, guys. The A's are really good. We'll see if they're going to be what they're going to do during the trading deadline. Sometimes, even though they're a low payroll ball club, you've seen what they've done. They've made trades for John Lester. They've made trades for Samardzija in the past. If they feel like they can make a run, I think they're 7 games back in the wild card right now. It'll be tough to win that West with the Mariners and the Astros playing so well, but interesting saying that. But it's just the A's hanging right there. I think that they lost yesterday, so they're probably back down to 5 games over 500, but they're still playing really good ball. They got a home run on Saturday from Josh Phegley, his 2nd of the year, Fowler his 5th, Matt Olson his 18th of the year for the A's, as they were able to beat the Indians in Oakland on Saturday. The Angels beat the Orioles 6-2. In Baltimore, as they get 2 much-needed wins in Baltimore. Probably would have liked the sweep. I'll tell you, they did lose on Sunday. We'll get to that in a moment in the next segment. But the Angels were able to score 5 runs in the top of the 8th inning to take the lead, and they actually tied it and took the lead in that 8th inning, as they didn't wait along. They did take their time. As Tyler Skaggs went 5 innings. 1 earned run, 2 total, on 4 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, gets to no decision. No homers in this game, as the Angels were able to use a string of doubles to score those runs, as they actually got a double from Pujols and a single from David Fletcher, really, that was able to knock in all those runs for the Angels there in the 8th. The Rays beat the Astros again in Tampa Bay. 5-2 was the win, as Vidal Nuno gets the win there. In Tampa Bay, they scored 3 in the first and 2 in the third. 3 in the first and 2 in the second off of Justin Verlander. He just takes his 4th loss of the season. His ERA is still at 2.12. And Sergio Romo gets the save, his 7th of the year for the Rays, as he's been one of those guys doing the opening as well. One of the openers for the Rays. But now Romo took the closing role yesterday on Saturday. Home runs in this one. Bregman hit his 16th of the season, a 2-run shot. That was all the Astros could muster, as the Rays got him early. I mean, when you're facing a stud pitcher like that with Verlander, get him before he gets in the groove. Get him before he gets in a routine, get in a rhythm. Early in the game is when you can get guys like that. That's what they did to get the win. All right, we'll come back and cover the rest of the games from the weekend in the second segment, and then we'll talk about some stuff around the league, Mariners, NL West, whatever we want. Do some Mike Trout rants more if you want on the third segment. So everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Monday today, as we're going to cover the rest of the games from the weekend. Left off with that Tampa Bay and Houston game from Tampa Bay, so we'll pick it up after that. This weekend honestly was a lot of runs, a lot of runs. A lot of high-scoring games, a lot of low-scoring games. That whole Yankees Red Sox series was a bunch of blowouts. honestly, kind of a lacking series. Yankees did take 2 out of 3 from them, but the first game was a blowout. The second game, the Red Sox were able to blow them out. And if you didn't watch Sunday Night Baseball yesterday, you missed a home run derby, basically. And then don't make me go into my rant again on the how small and much of a joke that little stadium is in New York. But we'll leave it at that, as we'll pick it up with this Reds-Brewers game. The Reds come back after losing on Friday and beat the Brewers 12-3, as they scored 8 runs in the 7th inning. The game, they actually were trailing 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th. They scored 8 times to really blow that game open. That's got to be a rough inning there for a manager, rough inning for the whole entire team. But sit through an inning where a team scores 8 runs in one inning. So home runs, Lorenzen. This guy's hit. Wait, did he hit another one? No way. Did he pinch hit? Yeah, so they had a pinch hitter that he pitched yesterday. This is they've had him for quite a while. This is Michael Lorenzen. This is the guy. Remember, I think he's hit 3 home runs now, I think, in his career. He had a pinch hit homer on Saturday. He had one when he pitched on Friday in a game he was in. And this is the guy who, I think his father passed away, and he hit a big home run. And it was very emotional. It was all over Sports Center. Cool part of the game where obviously tragedy happens, but then you're able to bring attention to it, bring awareness to a situation through grandeur, through home runs, through runs, scoring, and being a pitcher like that. And now he's got 3 home runs, I think, in his career, 2 in one weekend against one team. So, yeah, he pinch hit and hit a grand slam. Just FYI, the pitcher hit a grand slam the day after hitting a home run again. So, good for Michael Lorenzen, as he really added that game. So he was actually the only homer for the Reds in that game. The Brewers got a home run from Eric Thames, his 11th of the season. But yeah, Lorenzen's got 3 home runs on the season now for a pitcher. 3 home runs. So good for you, Michael. As we'll go to the next game there. The Marlins beat the Mets 5-2. As Jacob deGrom takes the loss in this one, actually, as the Marlins were able to beat him, as they had a pitcher go for making his Major League debut. That was Lopez. Make his Major League debut was Pablo Lopez. Went 6 innings, 2 runs allowed, 6 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. They gave up a couple home runs. That was to Jose Bautista, his 5th, and Todd Frazier, his 9th of the season, but it didn't hinder him, as Brian Anderson was able to hit his 5th off deGrom, a 2-run shot, and the Marlins were able to beat the talented right-hander for the Mets. Phillies beat the Nationals 3-2 in Philadelphia after getting blown out the day before, as They got a 1 in the third and 2 in the fourth to take the lead and tie the game and then take the lead as Vince Velasquez started this game for Philadelphia, but he only lasted 2 innings after coming out due to injury. The bullpen was able to hold the line for the Phillies there. They got a home run in this game. A one for Anthony Rendon, his 11th of the season for the Nationals. The Braves beat the Cardinals 11-4 in St. Louis as Luke Weaver was not really effective against the Braves as he gave up 8 runs over 4 2/3 innings pitched. It's crazy. I mean, the Marlins. Okay, FYI, the Marlins, by the way, they had a game where they scored no runs on 10 hits last week against the Dbacks. There's a difference. There's a difference. You have the Braves who scored 8 runs on 10 hits against Luke Weaver on Saturday. So it's just efficiency and hitting with runners in scoring position. Home runs in this game, Jose Martinez hit his 13th of the year for the Cardinals. For the Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr. hit his 6th of the year. Nick Markakis his 9th of the year as they backed up their starter for the game, Max Fried, who came in and pitched very nicely. The left-hander, he went 6 2/3 innings, no runs allowed, 4 hits, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts for that young left-hander there. He gets his first win of the season. The Red Sox, like I said, remember the blowouts? The Red Sox blow out the Yankees 11-0 on Saturday. Why don't you take a look at the score for Sunday's game, by the way? Pretty similar the other way around, as Chris Sale gets the win, his 8th win of the season. He was excellent as he stymied the... I mean, that shows me right there that the Yankees... I thought they would be better against... I mean, Chris Sale is not just your run-of-the-mill lefty. He's not just like a normal lefty starter, but he is left-handed, and he was very effective against the right-handed bats there in the Yankee lineup. He went 7 shutout innings, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, just 2 base runners on and 11 strikeouts for Chris Sale. The Red Sox had scored 11 runs on 17 hits in this game as they got a home run from Rafael Devers. That was the grand slam in the first inning. And then they also got one from Sandy Leon, his 2-run shot. That was in his 4th of the year. In the 7th, Devers, that was his 14th homer of the season. The Yankees didn't do much. They had 1 hit in the entire game, and that came... or 2 hits in the entire game. Stanton and Torres, that was it. Rockies beat the Dodgers 3-1 on Saturday as Jermaine Marquez gets the win. He beats Kenta Maeda in this one as Ian Desmond had a big home run in this one for the Rockies to really extend that lead out as the Dodgers were trying to come back in this one, but they could not do so as Desmond had his 17th of the year. Kike Hernandez on the comeback trail had his 14th of the season for the Dodgers as Jermaine was pretty good with 8 innings, 1 run allowed. Jermaine Marquez was pretty good. He went 8 innings, 1 run allowed, 2 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. Just that blemish was the home run to Hernandez. And then Maeda, he was also pretty good. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 total on 5 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. That home run to Desmond. Rangers beat the White Sox 13-4 as Bartolo Colon gets his 5th win of the year. He's still pretty good. You could run him out there. 5 innings pitched, 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a homer allowed. That was it for Colon as he gave the home run to Matt Davidson, his 14th of the year. Avisail Garcia added a homer later in that game, his 4th of the season. That was the 14th, by the way, for Davidson. 14 homers for Matt Davidson on the season. Very nice. As he also came out and pitched, I think, earlier last week, and pitched pretty well. Had like a really nasty changeup and had fooled some major league hitters, and he's a position player. And for the Rangers, Joey Gallo hit his 20th, and then Ryan Rua hit his 4th of the season for Texas as they get the win there at home. The Mariners continued their streak as they beat the Royals 6-4. Felix Hernandez, this was the I think this was the turn back. Was this his turn forward the clocks or jump forward the clock game? As they were wearing they're not retro. They're supposed to be like pushing it forward, like what our uniforms are going to look like in the future for that game in Seattle. As you had Denard Span wearing a tank top with no undershirt on it, and you had Felix Hernandez pitching with his shirt untucked. So it was an interesting little game there in Seattle. They get the win. Home runs in this one. Ryan Healy hit his 16th of the year. Mike Moustakas also hit his 16th for the Royals, but they were on the back of Healy as he was pretty good in this one. Goes 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run scored for the Mariners, but backing up Hernandez, who went 5 innings, 3 runs allowed, 6 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and a homer to Moustakas in that one. And then the last game of the day, Pirates beat the Padres. Beat the Pirates. PP, the double P's. Pirates and Padres from San Diego. 4-3 was the final. As the Padres win. Just want to be clear on that one. Padres win 4-3 as they back up Joey Lucchesi. Gets his 4th win of the season for San Diego. Home runs in this game as Will Myers hit his 2nd of the season. Will Myers having a very low power year. 2 home runs of the year for Myers. No home runs for the Pirates, as Lucchesi was very good. 5 innings of shutout ball, 1 hit, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts for him. The bullpen was also excellent. Just a couple of runs given up in the win there for San Diego. And then on Sunday, the Giants were able to sweep the Diamondbacks in the desert. They win 9-6 behind a nice, it wasn't that great, but the greatest pitching performance from Derek Holland. Only goes 3 2/3 innings, but he was manageable as he kept the Giants in that game. The bats were also pretty good. Zack gave up 7 runs over 4 innings pitched. The Giants had the bats out. Home runs in this game. Paul Goldschmidt hit his 18th of the year, 2-run shot. Try and come back for the Diamondbacks, but the Giants were able to really put the hurt on as they hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doubles in this one to get the win in Arizona to sweep the first place Diamondbacks. The Giants only 2.5 back now, tied with the Dodgers in second place. Giants and Dodgers also are only a game and a half back of the Phillies for that second wild card in the National League. So both those teams looking like they're headed towards the top of the standings. Their Diamondbacks maybe reeling a little bit. Maybe the Giants-Dodgers run to the final of the season, which would be awesome. Orioles beat the Angels as they salvage a game in Baltimore in that Angels series, avoiding the sweep as Gossman went 8 innings. 2 runs allowed, 6 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, just a home run allowed to Cole Calhoun, his 4th of the season. For the Orioles, they got a home run from Manny Machado, his 21st. And then you had Mark Trumbo hit 2 home runs, his 9th and 10th of the season for the Orioles. And then Trey Mancini hit his 11th of the year for the Orioles as well, as they get the win at home, beating the Angels. Tigers beat the Blue Jays 9-1 in Tampa Bay. In Toronto. Tampa Bay. In Toronto, north of the border, as Jordan Zimmerman gets his 3rd win of the season. He's 3-0 now on the year. Jay Happ gets knocked around a little bit. Zimmerman went 7 innings, 1 run allowed, 5 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts for him. As the home runs in this one, Tigers got a home run from Nick Castellanos, his 13th of the season, and Jacoby Jones, his 6th of the year. Astros, again, the Rays swept the Astros, by the way, just FYI. The Rays swept the Astros in a lot of close games, actually. I think the Astros won their first sweeps of the game swept for the first time in a while. Blake Snell beat Charlie Morton as this game was scoreless until the top of the 7th, where the Astros scored a run, but then the Tampa Bay came right back and scored 2 runs. As the Rays are now game over 500, the Rays are 42-41. Good for the Rays. Can't really do much in the American League. It's gonna be tough. Obviously, I think they actually are up there with the A's in that wild card on the outside looking in, because you obviously have the Mariners playing really well. When you have 2 divisions with 2 teams running away with the division, Mariners and Astros in the West and the Yankees and Red Sox in the East, it's going to be tough. And then obviously for the Indians, you're sitting pretty there in the central, but it'll be tough. So looking at this one, the starters, Blake Snell, excellent. I mean, we'll see. Are they going to be sellers? Are they going to be buyer? I mean, what are the Braves going to do? I mean, Blake can get a haul for Blake Snell, honestly, for a lot of different teams. He went 7 1/3 innings pitched, one hit allowed, or 1 run allowed, 4 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. That 1 run was on a homer by Evan Gattis. Gattis actually hit 2 home runs. He went off of Romo in the 9th as well. His 16th and his 17th. He's having an amazing season. He'll probably be on his way to DC as well as a reserve, but Romo gets the save in that one, even though giving up the run. Snell, excellent. Charlie Morton was the starter for the Astros in this one. He was pretty good as well, as he was a tough luck loser on Sunday. All right, quickly going over I'm not going to go over all the games as we're already kind of running to the end here. I don't want to cut into my 3rd segment, maybe a little bit. Actually, we're already getting close to the 30 minutes, so we'll cut it short here. I'll come back and we'll do the rest of the games in the third segment, as it was a busy. I don't want to leave anybody out on Sunday. It was a busy weekend. So everybody stay tuned. We'll come right back and finish up these games and do some talk on the Mariners and the NL West as well. So everybody stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back, GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Monday. It's always on a Monday. It's kind of busy as we have 3 days to cover of baseball. I do want to get to the rest of the game. Don't want to leave anybody out right now, as we are going to cover the rest of the games of this busy weekend in Major League Baseball. We had a bunch of high-scoring games. We'll cover a couple of high-scoring games right now. I told you the Indians had 11 doubles against the A's yesterday in Oakland, as they did salvage a game in that series as they win 15-3 in Oakland, as Clevenger gets the win, his 7th of the season. As I said, 11 doubles. They scored 8 runs in the 8th inning to really blow that one open. 20 hits as well in this one, as home runs. Lindor hit his 21st of the year. Encarnacion his 20th. Like I said, doubles. Lindor had 2. Jose Ramirez had 2. Alonso had 2. Chisenhall had 2. Just Brantley had 1. Kipnis, Gomes, everybody. So it was a barrage of hitting there in Oakland as the Indians win 15-3. In Texas, the White Sox beat the Rangers 10-5. Ronaldo Lopez gets the win there, as obviously El Garcia had 4 hits in the victory, as the White Sox continue to roll. Not really roll along, but they just they're the White Sox. They're just there. They beat Cole Hamels, who can be a little harsh for him. His trade stock might be going down. But no homers in this game actually at all. It was a couple doubles for the White Sox. Also a triple for Jose Abreu in this one, as they get the win 10-5. Twins could not come back against the Cubs. They were close. Scored 5 in the 8th to try and come back, but the Cubs were able to hold them off after scoring 8 runs in the 8th in the second inning. 11-10 was the final. John Lester gets the win, as they got home runs from Lester himself, a 2-run shot, or a 3-run shot from Lester, and then Ian Happ hit a solo shot for the Cubs. The Twins got a home run from Cave, his 3rd, and Brian Dozier, his 12th, and then Garver hit his 3rd of the season for Minnesota. The Nationals and Phillies. Phillies walked off on the Nationals 4-3 as Nick Pivetta gets the win because he was the pitcher of record in that extra inning game, as they went 13 innings in Philadelphia before Knapp. It was, of all people in that Phillies lineup, you didn't think that it was going to be Andrew Knapp to walk it off, but he did in that 13th inning with an absolute bomb down the line as they get the win there. The Braves beat the Cardinals 6-5 as they were up 6-0. The Cardinals came back in the bottom of the 7th to score 5, but that's all they could score in that game. They take the they lose by just the 1 run. Tommy Pham hit his 13th of the season for the Cardinals. For the Braves, Freddie Freeman his 16th of the year, as they back up Foltynewicz, who went 5 shutout innings, 1 hit, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts for him. He gets the win for the Braves. Mets and Marlins. Steven Matz gets the win, as the Marlins could not come back against the Mets in this one. 5-2 was the final in Miami, as Matz gets his 4th win of the year, beating Dan Straley, as the Marlins, looking home runs, Cameron Maben hit his 1st of the year for the Marlins, and this one, Asdrubal Cabrera, his 14th of the season for New York. Looking down here, we got the Yankees and Red Sox in this one, 11-1. So we had 11-0 on Saturday, Red Sox win. Yankees won 8-1 on Friday. Then we got an 11-1 win for the Yankees on Sunday. The rubber match of that series, as we got early runs for the Yankees, just like the Red Sox had on Saturday night against Sonny Gray, but David Price got lit up early as Darren Judge started off with a solo shot in the first inning. Torres, but Gleyber Torres hit a 3-run shot also in the first inning. His 15th of the year. Gleyber Torres 15 home runs. He came up in May, like mid-May. Judge, that's 22 for him. Aaron Hicks hit 3 homers in this game, his 12th, 13th, and 14th of the year for the Yankees. And then they had one of their young guys, Paul Hishigoga, hit his 1st of the season and the 4th off of David Price. That's I was trying to pronounce his name right. Higashioka there is the guy, the rookie there for the Yankees, as he came, the catcher, got his 1st home run for New York, Kyle Higashioka. And last one, as the Pirates and the Padres were playing first of all, we have the Dodgers with the Rockies 6-4, getting Hudson his 3rd win in relief. Mariners shut out the Royals 1-0. James Paxton, his 8th win of the year, as he goes, as Paxton went 8 shutout innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts for him. And then the Pirates were able to beat the Padres 7-5 in San Diego, as they scored 4 in the 5th inning to take the lead there and win it, as they take a game from the Padres in Southern California. All right, that'll wrap it up for the games. Lots of games. The whole weekend of games in Major League Baseball. Don't want to leave anybody out. We had a bunch of performances. We had a pitcher hit 2 home runs. A couple pitchers. John Lester had a 3-run homer over the weekend. As we'll talk about the Mariners. I mean, the Mariners, they're rolling along there. They're not only are they pitching, they're hitting, and then when they don't hit, they pitch, and they get saves from their closer, Diaz, who has 32nd save of the year last year. He has just been absolutely automatic. I mean, I think his ERA is probably around 1. It's like 2. So right now it's a 2.45 ERA. Edwin Diaz, as I'm looking at just the saves versus save opportunities here, I mean, he's just been absolutely amazing. This whole season has been pretty crazy. I mean, 32 for 35 in save ops. I mean, everybody has little blemishes with the blown saves, but I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of close games for the Mariners. I mean, they only have 54 and 31, so he's saved well over half of their games, and he's been able to be that stalwart in a bullpen that has been very good this whole season. Not only, I mean, when you get as your starter going 8 innings, obviously Paxton has been very good. He's 8-2, got 3.39 ERA. He's headed to DC. I mean, the thing is, they aren't missing Robinson Cano, and that's been the biggest surprise for me in this whole run for the Mariners, is that they're staying healthy and they're not missing Robinson Cano. They slid. I think they're having who's playing? Yeah, they're playing. D. Gordon was a very easy addition. I mean, very easy move from back to his original position at second base. He was moved out to obviously when he was traded over to the Marlins from the Marlins. He was meant to play center field for Seattle, which he did, and then obviously Cano gets the suspension and he goes and fills in right at second base. It's like an easy little shoot right there, not missing him. And then you get Herrera in center field. You could put they have a couple different guys out there who can basically platoon center field, which is fun. Teams do that because you have a Ryan Healy who's hitting crazy. I mean, he's got. It's interesting looking at their lineups right now. Healy's only hitting 252, but he had a big weekend, obviously. And then you got Gene Segura, who I honestly love. Always been a Gene Segura fan. Actually bounced around a couple different teams now, but finding a home in Seattle, becoming their shortstop, has been a big deal for him. He's hitting 335. D. Gordon still great speed on the base pass. They got power in the middle of the lineup with Haniger and Cruz and Seager. So I mean, they got a good Sanino's a good catcher. I mean, their lineup is solid. I mean, you get Cano back when he comes back from the suspension. It's like getting his free like a trade in like late August or whenever he's due back. But I mean, this is going to be a team that if they can stay healthy, if they can stay like energized, like, you know, those plane rides can get really long. They're going to have to travel a lot of miles. But if you can stay energized, stay engaged, and if your pitching stays where it is, because obviously with Mike Leake being a nice little addition, James Paxton's been automatic. Not automatic, but he's been very good. And then Marco Gonzalez as well. You got King Felix also. So they've been able to figure it out with their rotation, and then obviously getting the clutch hits when they want. Because I mean, that's a lot of close games. They've had 35 opportunities for Edwin Diaz to save games, and he's done 32 of them. And that's like I said, well over half their wins for the Mariners. So whether they're going to catch the Astros, I don't think that's the case. That's not going to happen. I know the Astros just got swept in Tampa Bay, which is crazy. I just think the way the Rays match up against them is really interesting. But yeah, the Rays are tied with 11 games back of that second wild card. They're tied with none other but the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. The Angels are one game over 500, 43-42. They've come all the way back down to the mean after starting so hot. The A's have a better record than the A's are 46-39. They're 7 games over right now, which is crazy. And but the thing is, they can't. I mean, it's difficult. If you're a team in either of those divisions, if you're the Rays, do you buy or sell? Do you trade Blake Snell and try and get prospects and say, okay, we'll wait for the Red Sox to get bad again or something like that, or wait for the Yankees to get bad again? Because you can't move divisions. You're stuck in your division. It's sucky, honestly. So do you trade them? What do you do with those guys that are playing really well? You can ask the same thing for the A's. Like, do you trade Frankie Montas? Do you trade Matt Olson? Yet? Because, I mean, they're going to trade him eventually, obviously. That's what the A's do. But do they think that they can make a run for that wild card and catch the Mariners? Because, I mean, the A's are basically the same amount of time. They're 8 games back of the Mariners in the wild card. The 8 games back of the Mariners in the division. I mean, it's obviously the same record. So whatever they think that they can get up on, it doesn't what they can try. But it's going to be tough sledding. They're going to play probably 600, 700%, 70. They win 70% of their games the rest of the season, and hope the Mariners just tank. So I mean, it's going to be tough sledding for them in that as the Mariners looking good right now. They've carved out enough leads. They get these win streaks like this. They can still go. They win 7 in a row. Beautifully win 7 in a row. Next week, if you go 3-3 next week or whatever, you go 3-4. It's not a big deal. You just won 7 in a row, so you're still 12 of your last 5, 12 of your last 15 or something like that, or 12 of your last 16. So it's not a big deal if you lose a couple games after winning a big streak like that. So you got to love those streaks. 7-game winning streak for the Mariners, a league high for sure right now. As another team that is on the streak is the Giants after coming off of that sweep of the Diamondbacks going to the NL West. Talk about a division that's the opposite of the other divisions, the other division out west and the one out east. In the American League, this is wide open. Just absolutely wide open. Dodgers and Giants are both 2.5 back of the Diamondbacks. Rockies are still there too at 6 games back. So I mean, the Giants and Dodgers are also 1.5 back of the wild card with the Phillies in that second wild card. So I mean, you got a bunch of different options, a bunch of different ways. I mean, looking at the teams who can make the playoffs in the National League. I know, Tom, it's July 2nd. Why are you talking about playoffs? Because we have to set it up. I've been talking about whether the Yankees are ready to go into a game 1 of the ALDS if they have to go play the wild card game and use Luis Severino already. We've already seen that they are susceptible against left-handed pitching. So if they have to play the Red Sox in the first round of the DS, I mean, obviously, David Price, yeah, see, that's the thing. That's what, David Price is left-handed too, Tom. Like, okay, yeah, they get shut out by Chris Sale, and then they blow up David Price. Both lefties, different kinds of lefties, obviously. It's going to come down to location and spot pitching. But when it comes to the National League West, lots of different ways. I mean, obviously, lots of different combinations. It could be Giants, Dodgers. Giants can get up into the second wild card or whatever may have you. I mean, the first wild card isn't that far off either. The Cubs are the first wild card right now, and they're only 2 games clear of the Phillies. So, I mean, really, the Giants and Dodgers are only 3.5 back of that of the first place in the wild card anyway. So, at all. So, I mean, whether they're going to be going for that first place. I mean, looking at the teams right now up on top, you have the Braves, the Brewers, the Dbacks, Cubs, Phillies, Dodgers. There's only 5 spots. You got 3 division winners and 2 wild card teams, and there's the 7 Cardinals are still in it. Nationals, 9 teams. The National League much more wide open versus the American League, where you have basically Yankees, Red Sox. They're both going to make it. Astros, and Mariners, if they can stay with it, and the Indians. That's your 5 teams. I mean, you have a really steep drop off after that. Is the next best team is the A's and the Angels. I mean, the National League is definitely more even keeled compared to the American League, which has gotten quite top heavy. And then in the National League, one of the most wide open. I mean, honestly, all those division races are wide open. I'm not going to pick a winner because I can't pick a winner for any of the divisions. I can't make a prediction for any of those divisions. The Giants could get up there. Who's hot? Dodgers can get hot. I mean, Braves can. We'll see if they hold off teams. I mean, everybody's right around that 40. I mean, Giants are at 45 wins, only 3 games off of the best record in the league at 48 wins with the Braves and the Brewers. So it's gonna come down to the wire. We got 3 more months of baseball to go as we are ready for it. As we were right in the halfway point of the season right now. Well, it was a couple of days ago, but we played 3 months. We got 3 more months. As we'll be right along with you in this GSMC baseball show, as we'll come back and after this break and do the preview for Mondays and Tuesdays games, and then send you off for the beginning of the week. So everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast, as we are going to quickly give you this preview for the first few days of this week in Major League Baseball, as we have a slate of 8 games to give you for Monday. I'll make that 10 games. I can't count. 10 games on Monday, as we'll start in Colorado. It will be Madison Bumgarner against Kyle Freeland, who has ended up being kind of the number 1 starter for the Rockies over the past year, as he's the young left-hander. He'll be facing the veteran left-hander in Bumgarner, who has been pretty good since he's coming back from the DL, coming off of 2 shutout performances. So you could say very good lately, as he's had 6 consecutive scoreless innings, as he'll bring it out into the start against the Rockies in Colorado. So he's 1-2 with a 2.51 ERA, 25 strikeouts for Bumgarner. Freeland 7-6 with a 3.29 ERA, 81 strikeouts. As Freeland's been pretty good against the Giants too, 2-0 with a 1.89 ERA against them. Actually in Toronto right now, there's a game already getting going. It's the Tigers and the Blue Jays going in Tampa Bay. I keep saying Tampa Bay. Tigers and Blue Jays from Toronto, as they already are starting actually up north of the border. Is the top of the first inning. For the Blue Jays, it's Borsuki, who is pitching for the Blue Jays. I can remember Borucki, Baruki, as he's pitching for the Blue Jays against Nick Castellanos right now. For the Tigers, the starter is going to be Mike Fiers, as he'll go for Detroit. In New York, it'll be an interleague series, a pretty cool one, as it'll be the Braves and the Yankees, as the young baby Braves face the baby Bombers in New York. As they'll get going. For this one, it'll be Anibal Sanchez against Loisiga for the Yankees. He's been pretty good, 2-0 with a 1.93 ERA on the year. Sanchez has been decent. He's 3-2 with a 2.68 ERA on the year for the Braves. In DC, another interleague series going, as we have a bunch of them for this. A bunch of them actually this week. All over. Is it full? We're doing a lot of interleague this week, as it'll be the Red Sox and the Nationals. Rick Porcello against Max Scherzer. Porcello is 9-3 with that 3.60 ERA. Scherzer 10-4 with a 2.04 ERA on the year for the Nationals. He's been very good. Did lose his last time out, a tough luck loss. In Cincinnati, the White Sox visit the Reds. It'll be James Shields against Luis Castillo. Castillo 5-8 with that 5.85 ERA on the year against Shields 3.9. As he's got a 4.29 ERA. It's actually not terrible for some of the games we've actually reviewed involving James Shields. But he's still living life in Chicago, pitching for the White Sox. In Miami, it'll be the Battle of Florida, actually. The Marlins and the Rays will get going in Miami. There at Marlins Park, it'll be Nathan Eovaldi against Wei-Yin Chen. Eovaldi 3-2 with that 4.08 ERA. Chen 2-5 Eovaldi's 2-3 with a 4.08 ERA. Chen 2-5 with that 6.14 ERA on the year for the Marlins. In Milwaukee, it'll be another close proximity battle. It'll be the Battle of the North. The Twins and the Brewers, Minnesota versus Wisconsin here. It'll be Kyle Gibson against Suter there for the Brewers. Suter's been pretty good, 8-5, but he's got he did get roughed up a little bit, 4.28 ERA. His last time made a pretty cool play doing that barrel roll. Gibson's been good. He's 2-6. The record doesn't show up, but he's got 3.48 ERA on the year, so let's get that down a little bit more. In Kansas City, it'll be Corey Kluber going for the Indians against Jacob Junis for the Royals. Kluber is 11-4 with a 2.54 ERA. He's making a bid to start the All-Star game for the American League. Will definitely be there, as Junis is 5-9 with a 4.67 ERA on the year. In Arizona, it'll be Carlos Martinez against Robbie Ray for the Diamondbacks. Martinez 4-4 with that 3.22 ERA on the year. Ray 3-0 with a 4.01 ERA on the season for the Diamondbacks. And then in Los Angeles, it'll be the Pirates and the Dodgers. Nick Kingham against Alex Wood. Kingham is 2-3 with a 3.82 ERA. Wood 4-5 with that 4.00 ERA on the year for the Dodgers. And then on Tuesday, a full slate of games on Tuesday for you, as we'll have some new series starting, some of those old series we just talked about. Going that Tigers and Blue Jays game is actually a makeup game, as that's why they're playing it so early, as they're making up a game they rained out earlier, which is from that roof issue they had in Toronto a couple weeks ago. And then in Colorado, it'll be Chris Stratton against the Rockies. They're going to put out Antonio Stencinella for him. He's 2-1 with a 6.23 ERA on 14 strikeouts. He's been in the Rockies bullpen for a little bit, as he did go very nice his last time out in AAA Albuquerque to build up his pitch count so he can start a game for the Rockies, which he will on Tuesday. Chris Stratton for the Giants is 8-5 with a 4.45 ERA on the year, 70 strikeouts for him. In Chicago, it'll be the Tigers and the Cubs, not the White Sox, the Cubs, as the Tigers will face in this interleague series. It'll be Michael Fulmer against Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks not having the best year he's had, as he only lasted 2 2/3 innings against the Dodgers last time. He's 5-8 with that 4.21 ERA, 70 strikeouts for him, as Fulmer is 3-7 with a 4.20 ERA, 80 strikeouts on the year for Fulmer. In Milwaukee, it'll be the Twins and the Brewers again. Jake Odorizzi against Junior Guerra. Odorizzi's 3-5 with that 4.62 ERA, 88 strikeouts. He's been pitching pretty up and down, as he did have a solid outing last time against the White Sox. Guerra 4-5 with a 3.05 ERA on the year, 80 strikeouts of the year, as he did finally just get over the 100 pitch. But they don't pit the starters for the Brewers don't go that deep. They have a good bullpen, so they rely on it a lot. In DC, it'll be Brian Johnson for the Red Sox against Tanner Roark for the Nationals. As Johnson's been pretty good, as he has filled in for Stephen Wright, actually, as he's 1-2 with that 4.28 ERA on the year, 35 strikeouts for Johnson. Tanner Roark 3-9 with a 4.10 ERA on the year for the Nationals. In New York, the Braves and the Yankees again. From the Bronx, it'll be Sean Newcomb against Domingo Germán. Newcomb is 8-2. He's that young. This is the young kid. He's going to be probably on his way. 25-year-old left-hander on his way to DC for the All-Star game as well. He's 8-2 with a 2.71 ERA, 90 strikeouts on the year for him. As Jermaine is 2-4 with that 5.32 ERA, 75 strikeouts for him. In Philadelphia, another interleague series getting started. It'll be the Orioles and the Phillies. Alex Cobb for the Orioles. He's 2-9 with the 6.57 ERA, 50 strikeouts. Tough year for Alex Cobb. He'll face Zack 6-2 with a 3.02 ERA, 57 strikeouts for him on the season. He's been very good. It was 5-0 in June. He's probably not very happy to see the month end, but he'll look to take that into July and keep running. In Toronto will be the Mets and the Blue Jays. Another interleague series going, as we'll have Zack Wheeler and Marco Estrada going. For these two, Wheeler is 2-6 with a 4.47 ERA, 86 strikeouts for the Mets. Estrada 4-7 with a 4.53 ERA, 69 strikeouts for the Blue Jays. In Cincinnati, the White Sox and the Reds get going again. It'll be Lucas Giolito against Anthony DeSclafani. For the Reds, DeSclafani is 3-1 with a 4.45 ERA, 24 strikeouts. Been okay. I mean, last start he did give up 2 runs through 6 innings, so that's pretty good. Did have a start to the 7th inning. Sometimes those starts you can have a great 6 innings, then you'll manage like, okay, I'll let you go out there for the 7th, and you get roughed up a little bit, and the bullpen can't handle it, and all of a sudden you got 2 more runs on your dock there, and your team is trailing or something like that. Lucas Giolito 5-7 with a 6.59 ERA, 51 strikeouts, as the White Sox have not been pitching well this year, really at all. In Miami, it'll be the Rays and the Marlins. I don't know. Neither team has announced a starter, as the Rays going with that opener. They don't know who's. I guess is going to be the opener tomorrow. And the Marlins, same thing. Their starter has not been announced either. In Texas, it'll be the Battle of Texas, Astros and Rangers. Dallas Keuchel against Austin Dbacks. Keuchel still trying to right the ship a little bit. Did allow 6 runs in his last start out, so he's really been up and down all year, having trouble locating that fastball. He's 4-8 with that 4.22 ERA, 80 strikeouts on the year. Against Dbacks is 1-1 with that 3.57 ERA, 17 strikeouts in a couple of starts. He's making his 5th start of the season for the Rangers. In Kansas City, it'll be the Indians and the Royals again. Shane Bieber against Danny Duffy. Bieber's been very good in his spot starts, as he's 3-0 now, becoming really a big part of this rotation now. As he held the Cardinals, only allowing 1 run through 6 hits through 6 innings of work. And then Danny Duffy, he is 4-7 with a 4.94 ERA on the year, 83 strikeouts for him, winning 3 of his last 4 starts for the Royals. In Oakland, Clayton Richard for the for the Padres against Chris Bassett for the A's. Padres and A's, another interleague series going, as it'll be the left-hander Richard 7-7 with a 4.29 ERA, 84 strikeouts. He's been a good part of that Padres rotation against Bassett, who's been up and down. He loses his first 3 starts, but he got his first one of the year last week, as he gave up no runs on 2 hits and 6 innings pitched against the Tigers, pitching nicely. He's 1-3 with a 2.82 ERA, 18 strikeouts on the year for Bassett. For the Diamondbacks and the Cardinals in Arizona, it'll be Jack Flaherty against Zack Greinke. Good little matchup here. Flaherty's 3-3 with that 2.92 ERA, pitching very well. Did struggle a little bit last week against the Indians. He got 73 strikeouts on the year, so he'll look to take that to Arizona and use it well, the strikeout pitch. Zack Greinke's 8-5 with a 3.41 ERA in the year, 108 strikeouts already for Greinke. I mean, that's actually not that high compared to some of these other guys, but Greinke's been a good strikeout artist his whole career, as he looks to continue pitching well for the Diamondbacks. In Seattle, it'll be the Angels and the Mariners. Andrew Heaney against Wade LeBlanc, a very important series for the Angels. If they can get at least they really need a sweep to get back into this season here, as they've fallen really off the table. 43-42, 11 games back. I mean, it's really going to be tough. They have to really, like I said, they're going to have to win all 3 of these and win a few more against the Mariners throughout the rest of the season. But Heaney, facing lefty on lefties, or lefty versus a lefty here, with LeBlanc being lefty as well. And Heaney is 4-5 with a 3.95 ERA, 76 strikeouts against LeBlanc, 3-0 with that 3.38 ERA, 56 strikeouts on the year for him. And then the final game of the day on Tuesday is going to be in LA, Pirates and Dodgers. Ivan Nova for the Pirates against Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. Richard was the last game, or a couple games ago. There's Ivan Nova for the Pirates. He's 4-5 with that 4.02 ERA, 68 strikeouts against Kershaw. 1-4 with a 2.84 ERA, 63 strikeouts. He's still trying to work his way back from that back injury. He only went 5 innings last time. I think they try to keep a limit on the pitch count, because he was technically supposed to make a rehab start and decided to do it at the big league level, basically, and hasn't really done much for the Dodgers. They still win. They're still 44-39. But we'll see if they can turn on Clayton Kershaw and use him. He's only on one win on July 2nd, which is very, very shocking. Not something, if you could have guessed something at all in the whole season, going into this whole season, it'd be like, Clayton Kershaw is going to have one win on July 2nd. He'd be like, you're out of your mind. Like, literally insane. But that's the case as baseball continues to amaze us. Injuries, that has to seem to happen that way. I mean, he also has 4 losses, so it wasn't only injuries, but Kershaw looking to right the ship for the Dodgers tomorrow at home. All right, that'll wrap it up for the show today, as we did a lot of stuff. It took a long time to recap those games. A lot of busy games. Didn't want to leave anything out, as there was some really, really good action over this weekend of baseball, as we'll get ready for another big week. A lot of interleague series going on this week, and we'll have them for you covered on Wednesday as well when we come back for another edition of the GSMC Baseball Podcast. So everybody have a good Monday and Tuesday. Enjoy some baseball, and we'll be back on Wednesday and talk to you guys then. So see you later. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.